Good morning, everyone. It's Kristen from Winter Maven Tarot with your weekly Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, and Separation reading. And the title of this video, I think really appropriate for this past week, especially as we had a moon shift into Sagittarius, is what the fuck is my Divine Masculine thinking? So remember, this video is for soul connections that are in separation right now with either little to no contact. So I pre-shuffled and laid out the cards so you wouldn't have to watch me doing that. And I'm going to start with the tarot here. I'm using the Hermetic Tarot. We're going to move on to the outcome and then the messages. And as I was sitting and really just pondering the cards and how they came out, everything really makes sense. Everything really, really makes sense. So this is more about the Divine Masculine's mindset towards the twin flame union, his feelings about it, whether or not he's actually able to acknowledge that there is a soul connection when it comes to his attraction to you, and what the hell is he thinking about it, and what should you do? So to start with the tarot cards, we pulled the Two of Cups, the King of Swords, which we know is an Aquarian card, but that's also a strong air card. That's a strong air sign card. So it's someone who's not really in touch with their emotions, or when they have them, they use mental processes to sort through them, which is a little bit out of alignment with what we're supposed to be doing with our soul connection and our emotional connection to others. You know, it's very difficult to be logical when it comes to emotions. Then you get the Eight of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Three of Wands. Now, the two cards that I pulled underneath are more about the timing. So when does this really resolve itself? What's the momentum behind it? What's the pacing and the timing? So to start with the top, I will say that your poor Divine Masculine is shaken to the core for the depths of the feelings that he has for you. So what I'm getting from this is he knows that there's work to be done in order to be with you, but he's really resisting it right now, really, really resisting it. There's something significant about meeting the other half of yourself, because when you do, if you choose to engage, it's not a static relationship. It's not the same old day-to-day sort of thing. There are going to be expectations and there are going to be soul growth. And right now, what I think is happening is there's a transition where he pulled back and became the runner. And I'm using, he because it's the Divine Masculine, but of course, this doesn't apply to physiological gender. But he pulled back and is trying to make sense of all of the turmoil that's happening inside of himself. So he's not in a place where he's about to extend his resources or overextend his resources and put the work in. But there's a lot of thinking and there's a lot of churning happening behind the scenes. And here is where I'm going to tell my Divine Feminines to have faith in spirit, okay? Now there's free will in this situation. He could sit back and choose to say, you know what, this is a little too complicated for me, and it's easier for me to step back and just deny it, status quo. I'm going to stay in the karmic relationship that I'm in because it's easier to do that than to acknowledge that I've outgrown it. It's not working for me anymore and I actually need to do something about it. You do have a lot of Pentacle and Wand energy here. So this is about movement, planning, and doing the work. But I think he's in a holding pattern right now. He's in a holding pattern. There are decisions that need to be made. And I do believe, especially with this Justice card at the bottom, so when we talk about timing, it's the Two of Wands and Justice. Decisions need to be made. And he wants to make sure that basically all of his ducks are lined up in a row, that there's no loss associated with the decision and the movement that he knows he has to make. So I would say, especially with the Chaser, Fresh Start, and Destruction cards coming up from your soulmate, twin flame cards, it's, how does this turn out for me, basically? Things are going to get a little more difficult for you. Okay, hence the Chaser and the Destruction, which is the Tower card in Tarot, before you can start over. Okay? He's going to dig in his heels and he's going to resist doing the work that he knows he has to do in order to obtain the partnership. But the struggle inside of himself is this Two of Wands and Two of Cups, okay? Really, the timing and the feeling. He knows the connection is special. You are someone that he continually thinks about. And he does think about a future with you, and what does it entail and what does it mean? But there's a lot at stake for him. And if he makes the wrong decision, there could be a potential loss, whether it's loss of money, loss of freedom, loss of income, loss of property. So he has to balance what he wants and what he knows he needs to do, or what he should be doing, quite frankly, what his soul wants, with property, material aspects, and perhaps even legal documents, whether it's changing a marriage situation or a live-in situation. There may be children involved. There may be papers that need to be signed or agreements that need to come to. And all of this comes at a loss for him. So he's balancing all of this out. So what does this mean? We're going to go back to some of the previous videos that I did. And this is about you as the divine feminine settling back, okay, trusting the process. And it's so easy for me to say this on this side of the camera, but trusting the process, because things are changing. And this Tower moment, and it says change, unexpected change, new opportunities, and that Tower moment where everything gets turned upside down. So as bleak and as frustrating as it may seem to you right now, because he's in this period of hanging back and not moving while he's processing all of the information, as awful as that feels for you, this is your opportunity to just let them go. Their journey is their own, okay? All we really care about is how does this end, okay? And it's have faith and have hope. We'll get to these messages in a second. But you've got to trust their process. You cannot force it. If you force it, you're going to slow it down. So this is about sending them a tremendous amount of love, of acceptance, and surrendering to this process. I'm going to put the camera on hold. I just had an idea. Hang on.